Lab Coats, we've got Tami Edwards today, and she lives about maybe 40 minutes from me, maybe, tops. Right, Tami?
Yeah, tops.
And she runs a hugely successful team that her and her business partner, Mike Bjorkman, run. Tami does all the heavy lifting while Mike sits on the beach and drinks Coronas, but we'll get to that later.
So maybe he's the one you need to be interviewing because he's the smart one.
No. I already know. I've already had enough interactions with both of you to know.
I think you just labeled me as the sucker here. I don't know.
You're the smarty. You know, yeah. Uncle Scrooge always says you want to be smartier than the Smarties.
Yeah.
That's you. All right, Tami, so let's get to it.
Okay.
I've seen you guys grow, and then I've seen you sustain that growth and be very consistent in what you're doing. And I know for a period there we shared the same lender, which was kind of cool.
Right.
I know that you guys work off of.
Clear, Tristan, you stole my lender. We're not going to sugarcoat this. You stole my lender.
Oh, damn. Okay.
No, I don't have them anymore. Thank you.
Okay. Was that Scott Edwards? I just wanted to make sure we're the same one.
Yes,
okay, good.
Yes.
Scott's a good dude.
Scott's the mortgage deck. Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
All right. So you currently run a few systems. I want to start off by you telling me what your systems are in regards to the tech that you're using. So CRMs, systems, mailing, and so forth. And then I want to get into the actual process of how you use them. So
okay.
Take it away.
So anyone that knows Mike Bjorkman and I, you guys know that we love shiny objects. So we have a lot of systems. We're not using them all perfectly right now, but we're trying to dial them all in. So we're definitely using Sync. We're super successful with Sync. We're super successful with Ylopo. Of course, Ylopo is amazing. Ylopo actually runs our website as well. Then, of course, we use Call Action, Agentology. You name it, we use it.
I love that.
But our biggest success definitely comes from Sync, Ylopo, Call Action, Agentology. The four of those are where we're generating everything. We're super successful.
Okay, and most of your leads right now, or your closings, are coming from, would you say, past clients, your sphere, referrals, online leads? Where are you seeing that coming from?
Definitely our sphere. Mike and I work really hard on our sphere of influence here in town. We're both born and raised here where we work, so we work really, really hard on that. So I would say that's definitely number one. Number two would definitely be our Sync and Ylopo. We pull a lot from there. We don't buy any other leads from like Realtor.com or we don't do any of that stuff because I refuse to give them money. So
Me too.
and I just won't do it. I'm not going to buy my own stuff that I already worked for. So, but Sync and Ylopo, we definitely are getting a lot of stuff from there. But our sphere is number one.
Cool. So right now, your sphere is number one. Number two, or maybe even third, what you would say online leads. So Google, Facebook leads, right?
Facebook, yeah, Facebook's huge.
And you're mixing it between Ylopo, which runs the Facebook leads, and Commissions Inc. Are you purchasing Google leads through Commissions Inc.?
Yeah, Sync is Google AdWords.
All right, cool. Awesome. So me too. But when our mutual lender at the time, the one I stole from you,
yes.
When he was with you guys, he mentioned that you were like a sergeant, and I was so impressed in a great way that you would tell, not only would you be the example of you were the one calling and dialing and keeping people accountable, but you would also instruct people on what to do, right? The expectations. And I was impressed by that a lot. So I've been meaning to tell you that. I'm impressed.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, and I try to lead by example. I feel like you need to be in the trenches with your team. So
I agree, and you do that really well.
Yeah.
You're a perfect example of it. Can you tell me, because I wanted to see how it differentiates from what I do or from what other teams do. What is it that you do with those leads that makes you successful with them? What do you tell your teams? Hey, you need to do this. This is the structure that you need to be using, and this is how you attack them. right?
Well, I think that it's on an individual basis as far as who the lead is and what they are. What I've really been working on lately is to, the stuff you have to nurture, just put it on a campaign and let it go. But the stuff where you actually have a good phone number, and we know it's a good phone number, they're actually interactive, they answer, but they're pushing you off. Let's take each case an individual basis and let's break it down and see how we can get in their front door. And I think that's the main thing we're doing differently. And so now I have two team leaders. They'll come to me and say, okay, I have John Smith. John Smith, this is the situation and what's going on and why he won't meet with me. And so then we brainstorm it. I give them the idea of what to do. They take it back, they implement it, and it usually works.
Okay, good. So I'm glad that you're using systems that I know, because I think you and I have the actual same systems.
Yeah.
But you guys actually kick our ass in regards to teams. So congratulations, you kicked my ass.
Oh, thanks.
So, but we run very similar systems. So when the lead comes through, whether it's from Commissions Inc. as a Google AdWord lead or inquiry, and a Facebook lead ad, does it all filter through agentology at this time, or do you have ISAs calling?
No, I want my team to be the first touch on them. And I know that a lot of people think I'm wrong for that, but I think it's really important that very first contact, they get someone that knows the area so that people can know, like, and trust them on that very first contact. I think that's really, really super important. We live in a niche market here in Santa Clarita, so people can see through the BS really quickly. And when I can, get my agent to get someone on the phone and they're saying, oh, I've been looking for 6 months and this is what I want. And my agent can be like, oh, well, I know that area. It's this street and I got one coming up. I think that's really big versus someone that's calling from a call center and doesn't know anything about the area, or you can't talk about the schools. And I just think it's really important that we engage them in that first contact. But if we don't engage them within 24 hours, then I like agentology or call action to kick in.
That's a really good point that you bring up. So there's research being done right now, and some that was already done about a year ago in regards to that approach. And they're noticing that in areas that have a lower price point, you're looking at 100, 200,000, where that's like the entry level price point, versus an area like yours and mine where, they can go up to millions and millions.
Right.
They're noticing that the more complicated the consumer is in metropolitan areas, the more that they actually want to talk to an agent versus an ISA.
Right.
And that's because they feel like they're being put off. So you hit it right on. You're right with what the research is saying. Right. And that's interesting to see, because you have all these big companies like OpCity and other big ISA companies coming in and saying they can help. But I think people have to be very careful where they're located to see if that's going to work for them.
Right.
So
and
that's cool.
We've gotten OpCity leads before in the past, and even them, because they're sending those out to several agents, just the fact that we know the market so well here, our team does. They have mandatory, they have to preview property 2 hours a day to be on Team Bjorkman. So they've got to know the market. And so they're able to capture those buyers when they come in like that, because they know what they're talking about.
All right, on that, because I love that you shifted to that, what training do you have for the agents that you bring onto the team at the beginning? Do they have to learn certain scripts? Do they have to learn certain processes before you send them leads? Or do you just kind of inaugurate them by fire?
I do both.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, do you pick and choose? You're like, I like you, I don't like you.
No, I do trial by fire, and I'm doing scripts at the same time, because I think the best way you learn is by making mistakes. So it's worth it for me to maybe lose 2 or 3 possible leads to someone learning if they get 10 to 20 later because of what they learned when they failed. So I think that's really super important. I think listening in the office to other agents that are successful, I think that's also the best way that you learn. So I can have someone practice scripts all day long with themselves in the mirror, which I do think is important. I still do it myself every morning when I'm doing my makeup. I'll do scripts back and forth with the woman in the mirror. And but I still think that they just need to get in there and start dialing, because otherwise they'll get analysis paralysis, and just get in there and do it. Learn the scripts, but learn how to switch them around. And I always say the reason why I'm been so successful is I took everything that every man told me I had to do, and I completely did the opposite. And and that worked for me, because obviously I'm not going to walk into a listing appointment like Mike Bjorkman is going to.
No.
And so I've learned to train everyone that's in a way that's going to work for them.
All right. I'm going to go on that a little bit more, because I'm not sure that you're aware of this. But when I first encountered you, and when people encounter you, you have this confidence about you in a good way. All right. And what is it that you do on a routine basis, or what got you there to have this confidence? Because I think that's one huge thing that agents lack. And that's what paralyzes them a lot of the time. Where do you get that confidence from?
Ooh, that's a hard one. The confidence comes from fear of not being able to pay my electric bill.
Oh, shit.
And that might, you know, I have to be confident enough every day to make sure that my family is taken care of. And if I'm not confident, my family fails. And I think that's where the confidence comes from.
You know, that's true. I never saw it like that. This morning when I was going through the whole morning part of the morning routine, I thought the same thing. I'm like, you know, I'm here locally as family wise, and I know you'll agree with me on this. I'm kind of like a leader, along with my wife, of my little family.
Yeah.
And if I don't do the things necessary to lead my family, I'm not holding up my side of the bargain.
Right.
And that kills me. So that's perfect. I love that.
Yeah. And I fake it till I make it. Like, I was horrified to come on this today. Like, I was scared to death. My assistant sitting over here, she knows I was scared to death. And I'm like, you know what? Game time. Let's go. Like, you just have to do it. I'm a little freaked out though, because I mean, my picture's small, but I feel like I look like the Long Island medium.
No way. You know
what I'm talking about? You know who the Long Island medium is?
No, I know what it is. You do not look like that.
I totally feel like I look like her right now, so I've got to do something with this.
No, you're good. You're good. Trust me. You're far from that.
These spirits behind you.
You're far from that. Here, I have some other tougher questions here along the confidence route, and that's this one. It could be a sensitive topic. I'm not sure here, but I hear from let me go back a little bit. 60% of all the women, 60% of the people in real estate are all women. 60%. It might be a little higher, like 63, 64%. But those are the stats that I read about 2 months ago. Knowing that, why is it that more men have the position of power at NAR, at like president of this, president of that, versus women? Because like I love to empower women and say, hey, look, this is awesome. I don't mind a woman leading, right? Mm-hmm. Because a woman leads my family, right? She's the boss.
Right.
And so what's missing? How can we empower women more so that they have this confidence that you have and say, hey, look, it's okay. Let's go out there and blow this up.
Well, you said like president of NAR and stuff like that. And are those paid jobs? Are those like volunteer?
I think the NAR job, don't quote me on this. I think it's paid. I think.
I don't want those jobs, Tristan. I don't want to be president of the Women's Council of Realtors none of that puts money in my pocket. None of that pays the college tuition. I don't have time for that. Good. I'm going to invest my time in things that are going to push me forward and not be a time suck for me.
I love that. All right. So this goes back to you want to pay for the electric bill. Simplified, right?
Yeah.
That's the dude.
Yeah. Would it be really cool to be like, yeah, I'm the president of the Women's Council of Realtors? Like, but that's ego. That's ego. And I think we're going to go, you started this on a male-female thing. I think generally males have the ego of they want the titles. And for 6 years, I put everything in Mike Bjorkman's name. I could give a shit about whose name is on anything. I want the paycheck. So I think checking the ego is the number one thing you can do in this business. So I think that's why you see so many women just kind of in the background, because we really don't care about that. We just want our paychecks.
All right. And everybody's agreeing with you, by the way. Megan Farrell Nelson saying, first of all, they're volunteers. So I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I'm just that was good. Like if I'm going to volunteer my time, it's going to be to like children with cancer. It's not going to be to
very good point.
Realtors. Like, no.
I love it. And then Ina Shapiro says, men have women in home to take care of their families as often as not, where women have a lot more responsibilities at home. We don't have time to work for free.
You know, I can't tell you how many times in my first 2 years with Mike that I had to say to him, Mike, I don't have Anne-Marie Bjorkman at home cooking dinner and doing my laundry. When my day is over, I still have to go home and do that. So
that's you know what? That's right on. So help me understand this. How do you then grow a team, right? Because you have a lot more responsibilities than, let's say, me, because the dynamic of my family is very similar to that. My wife's still got a job. She's a dietitian, right? And she comes home and has to do other things. Me, I've got this, right? And it's a different dynamic. So I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. So how is it that you can grow a team as a woman team leader? How do you take advantage of what you've got and the disadvantages of what some people would call disadvantages, right? How do you make it all work together?
Time management. It all comes down to having your perfect daily schedule, something that Michael Hellickson had taught me in the very beginning. When I first got into the business, if you don't have time management, you have nothing. There's time for everything that you want to do as long as you manage your time appropriately.
Now, how do you approach that so that it's successful in your life? What do you do specifically?
Well, I just write it down and I stick to it. Like if I want to sit down and watch The Bachelorette, which I'm obsessed with, and I have something else that was on my schedule at that time, I can't do it. I have to watch it later. Like that's just the way it is. You know, I don't get to play until my work is done.
All right. So I've heard people say, look, I plan the day before, I wake up and do this whole routine. And then I hear other amazing people that say, I don't wake up and have a routine. I just do what I need to do because I'm passionate about it. Where do you fit into that? Do you plan ahead? What is it that you do on the schedule?
I definitely need to plan ahead because there's so many moving parts here constantly. And then I have 4 children. They're all grown, but I still have 4 children because even when they grow up, they still need their mommy.
Of course.
And I'm traveling a lot now for EXP. And so I've got a lot of stuff that's really like I have to schedule. If I don't schedule, everything will fall through the cracks and I will end up disappointing someone, like I can't live with that.
How do you make time for what you're doing right now, which is traveling a lot, right? Whether it's for family or for your brokerage or for that growth, and then make time for your team so that they feel like you're still there for them and you care for them and that culture is still there. How do you do that? What is it that you do?
You're going to think this is funny, but the greatest thing we did for our team, and started this about a year ago, is we all started using the Marco Polo app. And have you ever used that, Tristan?
Yes. You know what? You guys got me started on it, but for me, I was in the middle. I'm still in the middle on it, but tell me how you guys use it.
Well, the reason why we implemented it is because Mike, my business partner, he would shoot off text messages to our team, and I was spending an hour to 2 hours a day translating what Mike had actually just said and making sure that people knew that this is how he said it. He didn't say, why didn't you pick up that open house sign? What he said is, hey, dude, did you pick up that open house sign? Like, you couldn't read between the lines on the text message. So we implemented Marco Polo so when Mike talks, they can hear the inflection in his voice.
Got it.
But now it has become that no matter where I am, I have my phone here and we have a face-to-face interaction. So they can call me, hey, Tami, I'm heading into this listing appointment. What do you think about this? Well, da-da-da-da-da. And we go back and forth and it's like we're talking to each other. And it has literally been life-changing for our team. It really has.
All right. And it also, there's a side benefit to it as well. It gets you comfortable doing video. So that's very cool. All right. Marco Polo app, for those of you who want to test it out, download it. It's free, right?
It is free, but Marco Polo can pay me for the advertisement.
All right. Tami, so tell me, in regards to onboarding, we've talked about confidence, your schedule, and then communication through Marco Polo. When you're onboarding these newer agents, how do you make sure that they abide by a certain schedule,
Mm-hmm.
and that you're also working on their confidence through either scripting or just making them feel more comfortable with real estate? Because I find that's a challenge too.
Right. So boy, there's a lot to answer there. So I learned early on, but didn't implement it until probably like the last, I'm going to say 6 to 8 months, that I cannot make an agent want it. Everyone gets their real estate license and I'm going to be a real estate agent. Either you have it or you don't. And there's those that are going to put in the time, they're going to put in the effort, and they're going to be successful no matter what. There's going to be the others that are going to, you know what, they're going to sell 1 or 2 homes a year. They're not going to hustle. They're not going to, you can't make them do it. Either you want it or you don't. Either you have it or you don't. So I've learned to pick and choose my battles. I try to only hire people on our team that do have it and want it, but I'm also accepting the fact of those that are like, hey, I'm going to do 1 deal a month and it's going to be my neighbor's best friend, and that's what it is. So I've learned to not waste my time investing in those people. I'm there to support them 100% when they need it. But the ones that have it, they have my full support, and it's become guns blazing with them, with the information for them.
And do you reward those agents that are succeeding and that have that desire? Do you reward them by giving them more leads, opening up more of that avenue for them, or what is it that you do for them so that they are rewarded?
So the agents that are putting in the work, and I've heard them and they're good and I can trust them to actually convert a lead, they get more live leads than the others. Some of them don't get live leads at all. And we run our business. I know a lot of team leaders, they get the leads come into them, and then they kind of feel it out and then force feed it out and keep the ones they want. Mike and I don't do that. We don't take any of our leads at all. They all go to our team. I don't even see them. They go straight to our team. To me, that's the benefit of being on a team, is that the team is not going to take the low-hanging fruit. And and our own personal buyers and sellers, we give those to our team as well.
Okay,
and
cool.
Those go to the hustlers.
All right.
Hustlers get Tami the buyers.
Question on what is a live lead so that the audience understands that better.
Live lead is a sync lead that comes in, and they're literally on sync signing in right now, and then we get a phone call that comes in that says, John Smith is looking at in this area, and it dials them immediately. So they're actually online, and we're calling them saying, hey, you're on our website. What can I do? Do you want to go see this house?
All right, cool. And you said something right in between there that reminded me of something that I went through, and I want to know how you guys shifted. You aren't working a lot or almost any of the leads that are coming through anymore, right?
0.
Okay, 0. That means, just so I get clarity on this, does that mean you don't take any listings under you personally, or you don't show any properties? What does that look like?
Listings I'll take, just because those are that's our sphere generally for the listings, and they want Mike and I involved. So generally what I'll do is I will go and I will take one of my agents with me, who I'm going to have them do an adopt a home. So so I'm kind of doing the handoff when I'm sitting there at the listing, and the client doesn't really know I'm handing them off, but I am, and I just say, oh, hi, this is Larry. Larry works closely with me. Larry's going to help your home sold, get the introduction, get their rapport going, and then I slowly back out.
Got it. All right. How did you shift into that position from being a team leader into more of a true, you're running now a true team, right? That's what I call it. Because I think the people that are the team leaders on a team that are still producing 50+% of the leads, converting them and closing them, that's not a true team. That's a wannabe team, right? They're growing up. They're in baby steps. How did you transition from that to where you are now? Because I found it, when I did it, it was financially difficult. I was like, holy crap, I took a pay cut and I didn't even know. Yeah. How did you do it? How did you manage that?
I ended up doing it not on a financial, not for a financial reason, but for my mental health reason, because I was burning the candle at both ends. And so last year we did 150 deals here at Team Bjorkman, and 84 of them were my personal deals.
Whoa.
Yeah. So if 84 are mine and the rest are the whole team's, there's something not right here, because it shouldn't be like that. So I had to take a look back and a step back and say, okay, you're either going to look 85 at 50 because of the stress. You're going to have to, offer it up a little bit. And again, it gets back to ego. Check my ego at the door. Stop thinking I'm the only one that can do it. Because I was like, I'm the one that'll get it done. I close the deal. Well, guess what? So will other people if you train them right. So I had to really check my ego at the door and think about my mental health. And that was what pushed me to finally make the decision to hand off. Someone really smart that I know that is a very successful businessman and runs a huge team said to me, not in real estate, said to me, what I did to be successful is I hired people that were smarter than me. And I was like, it was just like ding, ding, ding. That's like a simple thing. And so I took my 2 top people that came from corporate to that I knew had structure and knew how to accountability and all that. And I made them team leaders. And now that took so much stress off of me, because now they're doing what I suck at. I am so bad at that. I just want to close deals and sell homes. I don't want to be like, did you make your calls today? I can't do that. It's not me. And again, I'm a hustler. I mean, I sold 66 homes my first year without even knowing what I was doing, because I just hustled. So I can't comprehend someone that doesn't just go for it. So
Yeah.
I tend to just kind of just blow them off if they're not doing what comes naturally to me. So putting people in those positions that can actually be the accountability for them and keep them structured, because I really don't have structure, but to keep the structure for them, that was a big thing that I did as well. And
Well,
again, more pieces of the pie going away, but I'm smiling,
I think the mental health is important. And when you say you don't have structure, I know what you mean, because you do have structure. It's just that the structure isn't what you envision right now. And it works all together the way you do it. That is structure, okay? Just heads up on that. I have a question from the audience. How many agents are on your team to be able to hand off 100% of your leads? Because this person it says, I'm a small, young team. I want to get to where you are. It's a difficult question, I think.
It depends on the capability of the team that you have, because I've got some team members that I can put a lot on, and I've got some where I'm like, here's your 3, work your 3 perfectly. So it all depends on how many. Right now I have 9 on the team. Mm-hmm. That's Mike and I. So, which Mike, he's on the beach. We know that. So
I did see pictures.
I know. It just depends on the team you have in place. And, it's okay to fail as you start going through the process. I have failed miserably over the last few years. I mean, I have fallen on my face a million times, but as long as you look at those failures as lessons learned and not failures, then you just move on and move forward and make the changes. I think I'm finally getting it dialed in. I mean, interview me a year from now and see if I really do have it dialed in, because I thought I had it all together.
It's so funny. You know what? Here's what I've learned, and you hit it right on. I'm not sure that you know it, but the way that it looks like when you have it all dialed in is exactly where you and I are. But to us, it feels like there are so many moving parts that as we're going, I feel, and you feel this too, you're going on this airplane and you know what? The wing's falling apart. Holy crap, let me go work on this wing. And as you're doing that, the tail is falling apart too. And you're like, oh crap. So now you're like this, but that's what it looks like to have made it.
And then the toilet's overflowing.
Yes.
It never ends, I'm up all night going, oh, I didn't do this and oh, that, and
That's so funny. But that's what it is, right? That's the consistency of continuing to push and push and push and growing.
Right.
So it never ends. It's
Yeah.
never going to end.
I think one of my biggest failures in running a team is caring too much. I bring way too much emotion into this and instead of just keeping it all business. But I'm in love with my team. Like they're my family. I see them more than I see my own family, and I want them to be successful, and I want them all to be multimillionaires. And so
Yes.
I'm very passionate. And so when I see them not doing what they should be doing, or if I see someone leave the team for a stupid reason, like, I had someone leave the team the other day because of the commission splits, and she's like, on this and this and this, and I'm like, you have 0 escrows. Like, you're getting 0 escrow. Like, I can't comprehend it. Like, let me get you there and then leave. But it keeps me up at night, and I cry, and I get very emotionally invested. So I think that's my biggest mistake I make as a team leader.
I think that's your strength, Tami. Tami, here. I'm gonna tell you here what I feel for the industry, because we get to deal with a lot of people. I think the strength that most women have is that the exact feeling you have, that motherly feeling where they want to take the team and they want to care for it and grow it. And believe it or not, a lot of men are missing that. And I think that's why women for the team, they make better leaders than men. Because I look at you, I'm going to compare both of us, okay?
Okay.
I look at you as a team leader, and I wish that I had a lot of those feelings for my team. And I'm being truthful here. I'm like, if you make it, you make it, okay, right? But
Yeah.
you, on the other hand, have this internal feeling that you want everybody to make it, and you truly care for them. And I think men, okay, I'm speaking for me, and I'm going to generalize all men. Most men don't have that feeling.
Right.
And I think it's just who we are, right? But I think that's what makes women a stronger team leaders. And I really see that as a benefit to you.
Right. I think you're seeing a new breed of women too right now, because women have always been so competitive and so jealous. And I like to say I coined this phrase, but I swear I'm the first one that said it. So I'm owning it. Trademark. I choose to be collaborative, not competitive. And I think you're seeing that more with women now than ever before. And I think that's going to change our industry. And I think it's going to change the way teams are, as we change the mindset of women from that whole competitive. And men are the ones that create most of the competition between the women.
I was about to say that.
Men do that. But I think as you see us women, when you look at, Carrie Shull and Amanda Todd and Noelle Nielsen and myself, and we're like, Cherie Benjamin, we're like, girls, we got this. There's no competitiveness between us. We are collaborative, and we are in this 100% together. And I root those girls on like I am their biggest cheerleader, and I know they feel the same way about me. And so I think we're going to see a huge, huge change in our industry as that collaborative, not competitive vibe spreads.
I agree with you. I think one of the challenges I had when I started Lab Coats was that I would get messages of other people, men, right? No women, just men, telling me that I was crazy for sharing all the information I was sharing with people. And so it started to grow and grow. And then now I see a lot more people sharing, because there's actually a place that rewards people for sharing. But the fact that you're doing that really is a beautiful thing, because I still see it, that other men struggle with the ability to just share how it is that they've grown, or they've gotten to where they've gotten to. And I see it. Men just sometimes can't get themselves to root for another man winning, or even another woman winning. And it's real. So it's beautiful that you say that. You know what? You cheer on Cherie Benjamin or Noelle or Amanda. It's super awesome.
Amazing. Yeah, they're amazing. Amazing women. I learn from them constantly. And I hope that they learn something from me every once in a while.
I think that's a beautiful, beautiful collaboration. And I'm sure that ties into the team. How do you see your team dynamic grow with that idea in place?
Um, it's been slow going because I feel like a lot of the women that I've brought in are still of that mindset of that competitiveness. And so I'm trying to change mindset as well as train them to be real estate agents. And, you know, and then every once in a while I get one that just like gets it. And it's just so refreshing. But, you know, and again, I just know that I'm going to lose some people along the way because they just like to be in that world of negativity. And I don't have room for that in my team anyway.
No, we don't. That's the worst thing.
We are not based. We pump each other up.
For those of you that are listening in, and take note of what she just said. You know, she doesn't have room for that negativity, which means if there's somebody that's bringing your team down, I mean, what do you do, Tami? How do you get rid of them? Do you wait a while or do you just do it quicker?
I learned the hard way. You get rid of them fast and quick because I've had a cancer completely blow my whole team up. Not once, but twice. And it won't happen again. Cancers are gone. They have to go.
I agree. And it could
get the chemotherapy on them real quick.
Well, that not only damages the team, it damages you mentally. And it's just so draining. Mm-hmm. So yeah, for you listening, that's probably like step number 1 or 2 up there. If something like that does happen, just get rid of them quickly because they're draining. And in regards to mindset, I find that mindset is probably the toughest thing that all of us humans, real estate agents, regardless of what industry we're in, we deal with, whether it's a positive or a negative mindset. How do you help your team maintain a more positive mindset with good energy and looking at more being optimistic rather than just pessimistic and bringing negative everywhere?
Again, it's on an individual basis. You know, it takes a lot of time to do it, to change someone's mindset. I had someone the other day, newer agent, had a horrible home inspection, and she just calls me in tears. And she's like, you know, like the sky was falling. And I was like, take a step back, take a deep breath. Everything's okay. This is real estate. And your clients are going to take from you. I'm like, this is cool. We can work through all this. We're good. No, we have to cancel. I'm like, no, we're okay. Like, calm down. And I walk them through it. Like, we're going to look at this positively. You know, the house the structure's good. It's, you know, there's a little bit of mold. It's okay. We'll work through it, you know? And I have to constantly teach them how to react. I guess the answer is I teach them how to be reactive to things, to react in a positive way, not look at the glass as half empty. And that deal was saved, and she had all this stress of, oh my God, I mean, she was in tears. So again, it's individual basis of just constantly trying to pump them up. And it's hard when you're having a bad day yourself, because I mean, Lord knows I've had bad days, and I got to come in and put a smile on my face and do it. You know, you got to go for it. So
well, it looks like you're having a good day today. So
good. I'm such a good actress.
Well, you know what? You're having a good day.
And the Academy Award goes to Tami Edwards.
Good. All right. So you mentioned something that I've been talking to a few people in my mastermind here. And that's being reactive. And I've been trying to help the team and other people in that sense. And I think, tell me what you do for yourself to be able to, when you get to that moment when you either react in a way that you wish you hadn't versus a way that's more composed and can help other people grow from that reaction. How do you get to that point? Because once you react, it's too late, right? How do you train yourself to get to having great reactions?
It was really hard to do. It was really, really hard to do. But I work with someone that reacts really quickly, my girlfriend. And
that's cool.
I didn't like the way it looked.
Okay.
I didn't like the results. And I went, wow, that's what I do. And so I find myself now like literally just biting my tongue and just saying, don't do it. don't do it, don't do it. And there's a constant conversation going on in this brain, several, but that's a whole other story. It's hard, but you can train yourself to do it, Tristan. You can train yourself to just sit back, really like think about it. And the results are always better if you just actually sit back and think about it. But it's hard to train yourself to do that. And I still.
It sounds like you became self-aware from just noticing it from your friend first and not liking it. So that was like the instigator, right?
Right.
And then you slowly became more self-aware. It's like, oh, okay, let me check myself. Did I respond well? Did I not? Is that what really how it progressed into what it is now with you, which is you said something, you're like, ah, shit, that did not sound good. And let me practice on doing that better. Or let me not just say nothing, right? Just say nothing.
I will even practice what I'm going to say to someone. If there's been a situation in which I have to handle where I wanted to react, I will actually practice what I'm going to say. And I will even record myself saying it sometimes, that I know sounds funny, because I live like video myself, because I want to even see my facial expressions. As I say, if it's something deep and really, I mostly have to do this with Mike. Because Mike and I are like brother and sister. We're business partners. We fight. And I've learned to really control how I speak with him and not speak to him, and speak with him. And recently we had a big thing, and I called him and I spoke with him, and about 5 minutes into me talking, he said, "Can I stop you for a second?" I'm like, "Sure." He goes, "I so appreciate how you're speaking with me right now." And that was a huge moment where I thought, wow, it was so, and I had taken 3 days to respond to a situation. 3 days. And the way it all turned out was so amazing, because I actually took the time to really practice it. And I practiced. I scripted him. So.
All right, good. That's positive. I think what you're doing is you're training your mind on how to also react in the future in similar situations by scripting and practicing. Mm-hmm. So that's brilliant. And I think one thing that you said where you approached it differently, and you're talking with him, right? I'm sure that translated into the team as well, right?
For sure.
So how do you think is the best way to get through to the team? Because like you said, you have some amazing agents on the team who get it, who just go. And then other ones who are in the middle that you think if you push enough or talk to them the right way, they can get there. And then other ones that just suck, that don't belong on the team. Mm-hmm. But how do you get the ones in the middle? How do you talk to those to get them to get to that next level? What is it that you do to get them to there?
You have to sit down with them and find out their why. Because at the end of the day, it's always about the why. And what their real why is. Not like, oh, I want a Mercedes. Like get down to the actual why they're here, why they're selling real estate versus, working at Taco Bell. Like why are they doing this? And when you get to their why, it's much easier to motivate them and push them when you know what the why is. If that makes sense.
That makes total sense. I agree with you. I think having them take the time to understand why this is so important to them, because they don't usually have the time to really calculate that. And a lot of people in general have never really stepped back and say, well, why am I doing this? And why is this important to me? Right.
Yeah. And usually it's the people that, they're like, I'm going to get my real estate license and I'm going to sell houses and I'm going to make a ton of money and it's going to be so easy, but they're so stupid, those real estate agents, they don't realize this is a hard job. I said to Mike the other day, I said, I am not a real estate agent. I literally manage egos and emotions every single day. That I am an emotions and an ego manager. That's what I am. I am not a real estate agent. And that's what I do for a living. And it's not easy. And I earn every freaking penny I make. I can tell you that. So when people realize it's actually hard work, I had someone recently just got their license and quit before they even started because they said, I had no idea what was involved in being a real estate agent. And back to their 9 to 5.
Wow. That's true. I like how you and I are talking more about the psychology of this business in running a team versus actually running a team, because I think This, what we're talking about, is why teams fail or they succeed. And
Right.
nobody talks about this part. So one thing that you said there, when people come in and they don't realize how tough this business is mentally and physically, right? It's both. It requires a lot from you.
Yeah.
And how do you prepare agents for that? Because I have agents think they can do this part-time forever, right? And
Not on our teams.
yeah.
Go ahead.
That's how you deal with it. I love it.
But you're not here. I don't have time for it.
That's good.
If I'm given 100%, 7 days a week, you have to be willing to do that too. And if not, that's fine. I don't judge you for it, but it's just not for me.
Do you outline the type of agent that you want on your team? Do you have like a little outline of like, check, 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 check? This way, if this person matches, they go to the next level?
In my mind, yes. But I also don't want to close my eyes to someone that could be just as successful, but doing it their way, because it's not just my way or the highway.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
there's other people that can be super successful that are, complete opposite of me. So I have to keep my mind open to that.
All right, cool. And then in regards to Marco Polo,
Yes.
what else do you do as a team that keeps the culture high, that keeps you guys together?
So we do call nights once a week. And of course, we always have food and all that food, food and real estate agents. I don't know what it is, but that keeps them happy. You feed them, they will come. So I don't know. So we do that. And we said this on your stage in Coronado. We're horrible with the team culture. We're really, really bad at it. And it's something that we're working on, because Mike and I are both, we don't need our hands held. Like, I don't need someone to cuddle me, and like, I don't need that. I don't want it. Like, just let me do my job and go home to my family. I don't need the, I'm trying to think of the words. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's so many people that like, they want their workplace to feel good, and oh my God, they're so nice, and they're so, and there was cupcakes, and I don't give a shit. No, get on the phone. Like, you're not.
I think, and that's the culture. So that's cool that you're telling me that, because I run a very similar culture, and my culture is like yours. And here's your culture. You lead by example. You're out there working, hustling, providing the team with the necessary tools, processes, and systems to succeed. And now it's their responsibility to take advantage of them. And the ones that you see are progressing and growing, those are the ones that you're going to invest your time in.
Right.
That's the culture.
Right.
That's the culture that I run too. So.
My culture is be a badass or get out. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, I don't mean that to sound mean, but it's just, it's like, I can't call, like, I've raised my babies. I've changed the diapers. I'm not changing a grown-ass man's diapers because he's upset because a sink lid hung up on him. Like, I can't do that.
Yeah, I love that. Good. All right. That's, you know what? I think I like you even more now after the end of this. Oh, so good. Well, anything you want to add that I may have missed that you wanted to bring up? Anything that I may have missed that you said that I didn't emphasize on?
I don't think so. I think we hit it all.
I think we did.
I am like the biggest cluster of a team that happens to be successful. I don't know how it happens, but hard work. At the end of the day, work hard and it'll get paid.
You lead by example. That's why. And that's the biggest thing. So you've done a great job, Tami. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah.
It was good.
I've made it big time.
Thanks, Tami.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.